Close shaves in an unfair world. Here's the journal entry I wrote in English class the week of Annette's accident. Actually, on that topic would have been a nice change of pace for Miss Palma if I'd rather better read it. The assignment was, if you could pick one word in the English language to describe the universe, what would it be? Here's my response. Unfair. Unfair, 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 unfair. Why do you call the planet when a bad guy strolls through life with success draped across their shoulders like a huge king's cloak where random horrors are visited upon the innocent heads of the children? I call it Earth. You want examples? Just this week, my friend Annette over there in third row, by the way, was voluntarily taking groceries downstairs to her basement pantry. Now that right is meritorious feat. Most of my friends stopped doing volunteer household chores at about fourth grade. But wait, there's more. She went to step down the first stair and realized her cat was snuggled up there. Rather than trample on the innocent feline, Annette attempted to do a little leap over the said animal while balancing about 47 cans of cat food on her arms. Now, this girl has a lot of God-given talents, but grace of a ballerina is not one of them. So she lost her footing and tumbled down the steps amid the clanking metallic hail of small cans, and when her parents responded to a pitiful yelp of pain, her mom stepped right on that darn cat anyway. And B, they found Annette's crumpled form at the foot of the stairs, head stuck in a pile of shopping bags by the static cling, right arm twisted unnaturally into some sort of mathematically impossible three-dimensional rhombus shape, and Annette right hand pretty important because this girl's a piano prodigy, okay? She was a piano prodigy, thanks God. But wait, there's still more. My little brother, Jeffrey, the one who used to be happy, healthy, normal kid until he was struck out of the blue by cancer, while making a semi-rare appearance in a kindergarten class yesterday, being quite absent quite a bit this year, with a constant trip to the hospital and try to save his life and told to shut down her immune system and frequent bouts of high fever. And anyhow, a new kid moved into the class, and he didn't know about Jeffrey's condition. So Jeffrey went up to him and said, "Hi, I'm Jeffrey. I'm 5. Are you 5? My brother is 13. Do you want to be friends?" And the new kid guy replied, "Hi, I'm Adam. You're bald." I know it sounds weird. Jeffrey has certainly noticed the whole lack of hair coverage on his head, but hearing it from another kid devastated him. Eventually, he had thought other people somehow couldn't tell he was bald or something. Whatever. When this one kid said, "You're bald," Jeffrey burst out crying. He barely spoke all night at home, and at about 10 p.m., 2 hours after his bedtime, I walked into his bedroom to hear him sobbing in his bed. Asked him what was wrong. He told me about the incident at school. Then I asked him why he hadn't told us earlier what was wrong. And he said the saddest thing, "I didn't want you to find out I was bald too." So now my baby brother has leukemia. He has to be added to the curse of self-consciousness humiliation too. Unfair, unfair, unfair. Really. If that were the only word in the English language, that only word would be the world, the sum of the total of all human expression across the long millennia. It would essentially cover all bases. Everything else we say is pretty much irrelevant. Maybe if Miss Palma had been allowed to read the journal entry, she would have understood why I shaved my entire head that night. I was standing in the bathroom getting ready for bed, and this little Gap Kids baseball hat was sitting by the edge of the sink, by the sink. I was thinking about how Jeffrey had worn the hat everywhere he went that day, and I was wondering whether he'd be keeping it on his head every minute for months. Just because of one innocent comment some kid had made, all I kept thinking, who cares whether the little rugrat meant to hurt Jeffrey? He did, and now there's no way to take it back. But Then I heard Mr. Galley's voice saying, "Instead of agonizing over things you can't change, why don't you work on things that you can change?" And I realized that no, I couldn't grow Jeffrey's hair back overnight like I was some kind of mammalian Shia pet. And no, I couldn't retroactively sew shut the mouth of the new kid who had unintentionally broken the news to my baby brother. But I could show support for Jeffrey. I could be bald too. I took out my dad's electric clippers and buzzed off my whole head of hair, shorter to shorter and shorter lengths, until I thought I would be easy to shave with an electric razor. Then I started in the actual shaving portion of the festivities. Okay, okay, I've never actually shaved my face before, so perhaps I should have figured that out before it out. This wouldn't be a quick or painless procedure, but the same experience that had made me cocky also made me unskilled. And it hurts to use an electric razor on your head hair. Every few seconds, the razor would either get jammed with hair or need to be cleaned out or catch a chunk of hair and rip it out of my scalp. When I was about 3/4 of the way done my gruesome task, my charitable self-mutilation, my mother barged into the bathroom. I heard strange buzzing noises in here. What are you? Oh, Stephen. Surprise, I'm running away to become a Buddhist monk. Do you like to do? Stephen Richard Albert, what are you doing? I just told you, I'm Stephen, shut up. Holy cow, there's something you don't hear every day in our house. You're going to tell me the truth right now. Do you understand me? I'm tired. We're all tired, and we can't be putting up with any of your teenage. I did this for Jeffrey, Mom, so he wouldn't have to be bald alone. Oh, Stevie. All of a sudden, my mom understood. I think she was probably even impressed. She stepped through the mounds of hair all over the bathroom tiles and put her arms around me for a long, long time. Then she pushed back from me, held me at arm's length, and turned me around, side of beef, like she was a chef sizing up for a barbecue. She give me the razor. I'll finish this job. If I'm gonna have two bald sons, at least they'll both be presentable looking bald sons. And then in the morning, I went down for breakfast, a baseball cap on. My whole family was already down there, which was not the norm. But my mom had rushed everyone down so we could make a grand entrance, and I had dragged my feet for the same reason. I poured myself a bowl of delightfully sugar-encrusted cereal and sat down at the table. I could tell from the look on my dad's face that he knew the deal. He was dying to see my newly cleared scalp. Jeffrey had no clue, of course, and didn't even look up from his toaster, pastry, and juice. After a few minutes, during which the only signs of our little mini symphony was of slurping and crunching, I guess my dad couldn't take the suspense anymore. He told me to take off the hat at the table, young man. So just as Jeffrey looked up, there's nothing he enjoys more than watching me get a good lecture. I whipped off the cap. I wish you could have seen his face. I went from puzzlement to alarm to puzzlement to finally a shy little grin. What do you think, Jeff? I did it last night after you were in bed. You look so handsome this way. I thought I could get the Jeffrey look too. Do you think maybe now the babes will all love me the way they love you? Jeffrey's smile got larger and larger until he was big as Christmas. He jumped up and hugged me. Then he pushed away, looked at me appraisingly for a long time. Then he finally switched off the x-ray eyes and he said very solemnly, I don't know, Stephen. You look okay, I guess, but it'd take more than a haircut to turn you into a handsome baby magnet like me. Honestly, where did this child get this stuff? At school, my plan was to do the hat trick again until some teacher made me take off the cap. That would have been a swell strategy too if I hadn't been the windiest day of the whole year. As I was standing at the bus stop with Renee, a massive gust of wind whipped that sucker right off my head down the sidewalk. I'm sure I would look more suave at other moments than I did right then, running up the street in a crouch, trying to jump on the flying headgear while carrying all my books, my pate shining in the glare in the strong morning sun. I finally got the hat pinned under my foot and looked up in momentary triumph as the bus pulled away, just as the bus pulled away. Well, at least I finally stole the show from Renee Albert for a minute. I was the talk of the bus, and that wasn't on board. It turned out she was late because of an orthopedist appointment, so I sat next to Renee. She looked up at me in awe, in an odd kind of silence usually only seen on 3-year-olds who are meeting Barney for the first time. Then she shook her head, as if to clear it, and spoke. Wow, you must really love your brother. Nah, I just really hate my hair. Okay, once in a rare while I do come up with a decent line under pressure. When I got to school, word raced around the building, and I was king of the island for a day. A couple of my friends thought I was nuts, but everyone else, especially girls and female teachers, thought I was so sweet. I was pretty pleased with the outcome overall, although I did have a complaint. The top of my head was freezing.